Hey guys, welcome back to the next part of our series. Today we're going to continue with the baseball pitch, so let's get to it. Just loading here the scene. And last time we were working on the key poses. We did this first 4 key poses. Again, being very careful to exaggerate when possible. Make sure that this character looks as nice as possible on all of the poses. And now it's time that we start thinking about the in-betweens. So this is usually a fast action, right? The pitch is usually probably like a second or two. It's going to be about 24 to probably 48 frames. And again, the question here is always the same. How fast are we going to transition from the first pose to the next one? So in this case, this is our first pose, and this is the second pose, which is the launch. I would say this is a rather fast transition, so I'm going to give it 4 frames. Whoa, careful there. Make sure that you do this with all the curves. That's the issue there. So let's say 4 frames. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6 is probably going to be just 1 frame in between there. So 5, 6, 7, and then 8. 8 would be, I think, a couple of frames after this. Like this, like 10. Oop. Let's say right about there. There we go. So now we start to get this sort of animation, and we're going to start facing the first set of problems, right? So we already know that Maya likes to interpolate things the way Maya likes to do it, and sometimes that's not what we're going for. So this first section, I think is actually fairly good. I would just add a couple of changes to like the hand and stuff. So maybe like move this hand here. Like here, pose 3, I might just like move the hand a little bit so the rotation of the hand looks, or actually no, it kind of looked okay because we're still kind of like holding, or the glove was still like holding the thing, and now we're no longer holding it. So yeah, maybe we get something like that. The elbow right there looks very, very nice. The foot about to land, that everything looks really good here. Maybe the hip, we can adjust it a little bit. There we go. And then this one, this is where problems start, right? Because in this position, this is a very nice throw, but this one right here, which is immediately afterwards, so we're going from this to this, see this pose right here is going to be super important because we're going to be able to give this whole arm a lot more, force and more acceleration at the very end. At the last point of the movement, there's going to be more acceleration. So you can see that the arm is actually still back here. So we're closer to this position. And the elbow, as we see there on the reference, actually does like this very weird like bend on this side. You can see it right there, where it kind of like goes forward. So it bends all the arm forward, and we're going to do this sort of like slingshot effect, right? It's very important that here we really, really, really exaggerate how everything is going to look. So we might even like push the chest back. Let's go like back here. Like I might even like exaggerate this pose a little bit more, because the more we exaggerate, the stronger this pitch is gonna look. So from here to here, you can see how much force he's going there. And as you can see here, the chest is already turning. So I would expect this thing actually to be like this. Like he's starting to turn the back around like this. So it's 1, 2, 3. And on the 3, which is this one right here, he's still normal. I would actually push it a little bit more. That way we can push the hand further forward like this. And one thing that I forgot to do on the other pose is, of course, release the ball. So this is the position where I would expect the ball to be released. Therefore, I'm just going to start unbending some of the fingers, because we're going to lose contact with the ball right about here. There we go. So we get, again, this very nice effect, and boom, there we go. Now, as I mentioned before, we're going to finish on this thing, because I would expect this animation to be, we're going to cut to the final position, right? So here, let's give it a couple more frames to the whole thing. So let's select all the curves. Let's do 2 more frames, because I want to go to frame like 10. And I want to make sure that this arm is kind of like stretched out first, because he just finished the throw. So I wouldn't expect to just finish the throw and then go back to like a traditional bent arm. So we're going to go like this. Let's take a look at the transitions now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that looks better. And now let's take a look at the timing. That looks fairly good, to be honest. I think it looks very, very nice. I think we can actually add the next pose, which would be the rest pose. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna go like a couple of frames after this. And I would expect his center of mass to change, to move forward. And then he's, of course, gonna catch himself with the other foot. So I'm just gonna zero out here the rotation, or so, rather the translation, zero out. Now let's zero out everything here. That way it's gonna be a little bit easier to find the proper position. And then all of his weight is probably gonna change, and he's gonna be landing on this other leg, right? So that this would be like the next pose. A lot of energy was like used to do the throw. I would definitely expect to see a little bit of a recovery here on the back. So I'm gonna zero out the whole back. Sometimes it's easy to just zero out everything and then readjust it. I would expect this. This knee like this. The knee is always pointing to the more balanced square or space. Let's go about there. So we go from here to here. We need to do a little bit. I'll show you how to fix that issue that we have there with the foot. It's very simple. And then a couple of frames later, we would go to like a more traditional idle pose, right? So there we go. Let's zero out the rotations on the hips. So he's standing a lot more natural. His weight would be going back again. And then I think he would be ready, 'cause sometimes I've seen a couple of videos where the pitchers catch the ball on the rebound or on the first hit, pretty much. So he would be like getting ready. So a little bit of an action pose right there. There you go. I think I like that. So grab everything here, S, grab everything here, S, and now we got this. So if we take a look at the animation, there we go. Now, of course, this jump here at the end, it's a little bit weird, it's a little bit fast. We can slow that down. So how do we slow it down? We, of course, move these things. And this is probably the one that's going to take the longest. So let's go all the way to frame 32. There we go. I like it. I like that. Now, the only thing I'm seeing here is that if we take a look at the hips here, and this is the in-between work. Remember, once we do the key poses, and we can always add more poses, but once we have a very good idea of how things are looking, I'm going to grab this hip right here, and I'm going to say edit mesh, animation, visualize, create a editable motion trail, and we can see this here. So the hip is very nicely moving here. Look at that amazing arc there. But then here, I don't love it. I don't love this this rotation here. So to keep this arc flowing in a nice way, I would move this forward so that the fall gets there, and then we go back. See that like a small spike on frame 12. We can even go to frame 17, for instance, and let's move a little bit the character here. And that way, the movement of the whole hip goes a long, long way. Now, what is happening here with this foot? This is something that's very common in animation. And the problem is, we went from having all of these transformations back to 0. And the issue, if you take a look at the graph editor here, is that the curvature, especially the rotations, do this very weird like bloop, going back to the origin. So I'm going to select the curves, and I'm going to go here into curves and select this thing called Euler filter. And if we click the Euler filter, you're going to see that everything changes. All of the curves changes. And the animation should remain the same. As you can see here, it's pretty much the same. But now up here, we're not going to get that weird transformation of the position. Here, for instance, we might need to add one more keyframe. I'm actually going to push the foot forward so that the return is very fast. And see, okay, so the problem there is it's giving me like a double rotation. So I'm just gonna go to this place, and you can see that it goes from having 271 or 230 all the way here. So we need to adjust it. Let's give it another Euler filter. Curves, Euler filter. There we go. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, that's better. So now it knows that it needs to keep this new rotation. It's like when we do the backflips, we need to keep the new rotation so that everything follows or flows in a nice way. So we go here and we land. Now, the landing, for instance, I don't want to offset things just yet, but let me just go to all the keyframes and add one keyframe everywhere. But we are going to be offsetting things because right now, like the landing does not match the hip, right? Like I would expect the foot to land first and then the hip to land as well. So here, let me just adjust this knee a little bit. He can rotate the foot slightly just to recover like a nicer pose there. There we go. Now let's take a look at the speed. I think it's a little bit fast, just a little bit fast. So let's do one quick trick here. I'm just gonna grab everything here again, scale this up like a couple of frames, not much. Something like this. I'm just gonna hit snap. Let's delete the motion trail. Motion trails tend to make things slow because it needs to process the new transformations. There we go. That looks a little bit more natural. We at least get a little bit more action time, which is good. At the end, we can always scale it back, of course. But I like how this looks. Now let's go with the arm, because right here I think we're missing some action. So that's a really good spot. This one right here, I'm gonna keep it straight. And this one right here, I'm also gonna keep it straight, or quite straight. That way, the whole movement of the arm remains as straight as possible. It's kind of weird that we get this movement here, so I'm gonna add an extra keyframe here to keep this arm straight. Maybe the hand not straight, but everything else should be straight. Let's add a couple of keyframes here to show the movement of the hand. Now we got that. So see how nicer the flow of the arm looks. And again, I could have noticed that if I used a motion trail, but sometimes just like scrubbing through the animation and understanding where things are is more than enough. Okay, let me see the speed one more time. Yeah, I like it. I'm thinking about adding the initial pose. I think the initial pose might be good, and I don't think we're gonna have that much of a hard time. So I'm just gonna grab everything here, all of the poses. Let me give it like, I don't know, like 10 frames or so. And I'm gonna go to the first pose and just, let's bring this guy here. Again, just zero out the translations pretty much. So that's right about there. Let's bring this guy a little bit forward, not as rotated probably. Let's go here. Oh, there we go. The knee, where's the knee? This one. Let's move it a more normal way. And then this arm right here. I mean, we can already have the hand on the ball. That's fine. So we could be like this. You know that they usually keep it really close to their body, so let's do something like this. There we go. So that's a normal traditional pose. It looks balanced. I think it looks balanced. Just grab everything and S, and we're gonna have this transition. And there we go. Now, one thing I don't like is this jump right here on this frame, on frame 15. I would like this guy to still be like all the way over here. Kind of like barely touching the ground, you know? Like from here to barely touching the ground. And then we move it. So for instance, here, I would expect this to be like really, really moving forward. I'm gonna point the feet in the same direction as the knee. Remember, very, very important that we try to keep the knee nice and anatomically correct. Otherwise, it's gonna look like this character is breaking his knee. And there we go. So let's take a look at the whole thing. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Let's turn off the curves. Not bad for initial blocking. So again, if we think now we can actually do the camera thing where we are gonna animate and get an idea of the final shot. So I'm thinking this would be like a 5-second like intro for like a Facebook post or for like an Instagram post, which by the way, you can actually sell for quite a bit of money if you do a nice render. So I'm gonna go here, panels, look through selected. And as I mentioned, we're gonna start right about here. I think something we can do is we can start like far away and then go in, and then we have the action, and then we go into the camera break. So that means that I'm just gonna grab the character. Whoop. Yeah, here we go. Let's give him a couple more frames here. Let's say like a couple of seconds probably until we start with the first animations. So here we're gonna start like out here, and then let's select the camera. We start here, and in, let's say 2 seconds, which is when he starts to prepare, we're gonna get this. So we're gonna get like and then here we would need to move the camera like over here. Although this might be a little bit of this could be like a really fast movement. Yeah, because we need the camera to be hit right about here, like boom. That's probably where we would be hit, like about here. Toon. So maybe we just delete this one and we do this. Boom. Yeah, that looks okay. I think I would like this to be a little bit closer. Now I know that the ball is gonna fly like really, really fast, so that's why I was going for like another kind of view here. Let's get closer. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Here's where again we could do a little bit of the tricks that we just learned on the last couple of videos. We can say, okay, this pose, let's go here, S, let's go to frame 22, and let's just add like another sort of like idle pose, right? So we're combining a little bit of everything. So let's say he goes down a little bit, he moves here a little bit, he like nods or something, just a one simple nod, and then yeah, it's just a simple movement, right? So we're gonna get this, and there we go. So let's take a look at the camera. Panels, look through selected, and we get this. Boom, there we go. I think that looks good. Now, here's where things get a little bit fun. We're still not done with the poses and stuff, but we can start blocking in other things in the animation, like the camera and the ball. We haven't done the ball yet, so let's go with that. I know that the timing, it's probably not going to change as much. I think the timing is good right now. The only thing we need to keep on polishing are the different poses. So let's do a very quick blocking for the ball here before we stop the video and continue on the next one. So I'm going to go to the last point where this character has the ball, which is this position right here. And in this position, I really do like the ball being right there, immediately outside of its reach, like what we have there. Although I might even go like a frame. No, yeah, let's do that one. Let's just bring this guy in like this, or we can push this out just for this frame. I know that I normally say don't move this thing, but just because I want to match this thing where the ball is already out there. So I'm gonna grab this ball, and I'm gonna position it where this other ball is. Doesn't need to be perfect, but just close enough, something like that. And that's gonna be my first position, S. And then immediately over here, I'm just gonna like move it like quite far, probably where the camera is, right? And now, if I go back to this frame, I'm gonna select this sphere right here. I'm gonna right click this element, and I'm gonna key select it. Key selected. One frame before that, I'm gonna key select again. And one frame, and the frame that I just selected, I'm actually gonna turn off the visibility because this is gonna be the one that's on. And then one frame before this one's gonna be off. So now we're gonna have that bait and switch that I was talking about, where one ball disappears and then the other one appears in a matter of seconds. Now, this new ball, the free ball, need to make sure that the acceleration is more like an actual acceleration. So I'm gonna have something like this, right? Because it goes like really fast at first. So now let's take a look at the camera. Panels, look through the selected, and we're gonna get this. Boom. There we go. That actually looks like a very nice speed, I think. It usually takes me a couple of tries to get this properly aligned, but that's fine. So let's go here. I think I'm gonna push it just a little bit more so that we get more speed. And it's very important that we go across the camera. So I'm gonna move this like this. And now I would expect, like especially here, like I need to find one frame before it hits the camera, so it's right about here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna move it like this, and actually just like straight to the camera, pretty much. So panels, look through selected, and we're gonna get the ball right there. It's gonna be like boom. So a little bit of a twist, but that's fine. Let's really get it there like this. Because one frame after this frame, we're just not gonna see anything, and that's where we're gonna blur the camera and we're gonna do some cool movements in the next video. But now if we take a look at the animation, let's see how we're doing. Not bad, right? Not bad for just, what, about 40 minutes of work? These kinds of animations, by the way, take days to polish, but we're trying to show you how to do it very quickly so that you learn all of the specific tools. So that's it for this video, guys. I'm going to stop it right here, and we're just going to keep going. So hang on tight, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye-bye.